It is time to share my IELTS speaking test story. I believe that whatever I'm going to say here may go a long way to help somebody, especially those preparing for IELTS. Okay. Mostly, you may write your IELTS speaking test 2 or 3 days before the writing, the listening, and the reading, or sometimes after you've done these 3 tests. Okay. So whichever, I think my story can help you. I was confident in myself, especially with the speaking test, because I know that so far as I could say something, probably my band says 6.5, zooming into 7 is a must, okay? Because I went for a British Council workshop, and it's like there was this lady who was undertaking the speaking test, never said anything, and she got 4.5. Now that was my motivation. So if she didn't say anything and then she had 4.5 band score, then what about me, who can mention my name, who can see where I come from, who can give a bit of sentences, which means that I'm into 6.5. And with a little push, I'll zoom into the 7 I'm looking out for. So fast forward, I had to do my speaking test 3 days before the reading, writing, and then the listening test. So I remember it was somewhere, I don't remember the dates. It's been about 2 or 3 years now. Yeah. So I was confident in myself. I did a lot of practice with my friends. There were times that I lost hope because I was finding it very difficult to generate ideas. But all in all, I came up with a strategy that did help me. So especially with the part 2, I could speak more than the 2 minutes they were looking out for, and I could genuinely express myself. With the speaking test, I don't know the examiner I'm going to meet. I don't know the questions they are going to throw at me. So I was a bit tensed, and I felt like, let me get to the examination center, British Council, as quickly as possible. So as I said, when I got there, I was made to sit at the reception to wait for my time. My test was to start at 3 p.m. So I got there 2 p.m., which means I had an hour to relax and stuff. Okay. When it was 2:30, I was asked to climb upstairs where the exam was going to be done. When I got in there, they had to take pictures, for my test report form. They had to also take my passport to check my identity, just to make sure that I'm the right candidate and stuff. And I've done all this. There was this lady by me, I could see that she was quite tensed. She was scared. I don't know why, but I'm that type of person who like to mind my own business. But at that point, I felt like I had to engage her, because if not, I just don't know. She's going into I just don't know what was bothering her, but I felt like, let me just have a chat with her. So she made mention of the fact that she's scared, and it's all because she doesn't know the examiner she's going to meet. She doesn't know the questions and all those stuff. Okay. And I think for her, she had already done the writing, listening, and then stuff. And I strongly believe that one of them never went well with her. So it's like she was still thinking about it, coupled with the speaking test. So I actually advise that, whether you have written this one first or that first, just put it at the back of your mind. It's up to the examiner to decide the score he or she would give you. Okay, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change it. So don't let that zoom you into the next test, which may eventually affect you. So she was thinking about all these stuff. So I had to engage her. I did encourage her that much, to the point that I felt she was confident. She was before me, so which means that when she goes in, I'll be the next person to be called. Now, she had gone in. Not long thereafter, they came to call me. All of a sudden, like, my heart jammed. I just don't know why. And I began to feel that kind of tense and stress. The tension was mounting. And when I got in there, it's like my mind was completely off. I began to panic. It was not because I feared the examiner because she was black. It's not as if she was a white man or a white woman that I wouldn't be much more familiar with the accent. And she said I could sit down. I sat down, and I just don't know. I think she felt I was tensed. So the question she asked was, do I want to get a bit of time to relax before we start, or we can just jump in and then start? So at that point, I felt like I should have told her I want to relax a bit more. But I also felt like if I had done that, the tension would have mounted, because it was much more of the fear of the unknown. I don't know how friendly this examiner is. I don't know the questions he's going to throw at me. I don't know if I'll be able to hear her accent or not. So it's like all these things were running through my mind. And she asking me to relax a bit more could have worsened the situation. I just told her, okay, we can start. So I sat comfortably, and then she threw the first question at me. Frankly speaking, I myself didn't hear the answer I gave because I spoke so fast. And it was because I was tensed. Mostly, one thing I've discovered about me is that if I'm tensed or if fear grabs me, I begin to speak faster. And then most times, the words I speak do not appear or do not come up so clearly. So the first question the examiner threw at me was, do you study or you work? And in the course of answering this question, I made a mistake. I made a mistake because I was tensed. It's like I was not thinking right. The answer I gave, I realized that I had made a mistake. So I remember saying that I neither work or study. Now remember, for if you've done English grammar, you get to realize that there are some words that go together. So for example, you may have in front of. In front goes with of. Either or, neither or neither, no, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So instead of saying I neither or neither study nor work, I said I neither or neither study or. Okay, so neither goes with no. I did interchange the whole thing. So that statement I made tickled my mind. I realized that I've made a mistake, so I have to come back and then say the whole sentence again. And I did correct it. And there was no sign on the examiner's face to show that I've made a mistake. But I also felt like because I've been able to correct it, that was one positive sign. Because if you make a mistake and then repeat the sentence, it gives an impression that you know what you are doing. And after answering that first question, I realized that the tension was raining down gradually. And I was much more composed because I felt like first impression counts a lot. I have to calm myself down. I began taking in deep breaths without the knowledge of the examiner because I felt like that could calm me down to speak much more slower so that my words may appear, because they are looking out for a whole lot of factors, okay, pronunciation, lexical resource and stuff. And that is how come I passed my speaking test. So have a defense mechanism, especially if you are that type of person who easily get tensed.